Okay, there's a lot to get to, so let me set up the immediate context and then get into this very devastating piece of information, which, by the way, vindicates me on the Sheev Talks controversy. So let me go real quick. So essentially, Southpaw had a falling out with EFAP. He hooked up with Sheev Talks, SK, and Jolly Chap, as well as other people, but I'm going to concentrate on those, quote, four individuals. It also includes Rags, who is on EFAP. He's a co-host, and that's very critical. So essentially, SK and Southpaw had a very bad conversation over his Spider-Man video, which SK covered on his channel. And to give him credit, SK did allow a debate to happen, but in his eyes, there wasn't a real debate, and Southpaw became frustrated. They had a conversation. Sheev Talks was there, and that's critical. And essentially, they just kept going back and forth, and Southpaw left. And the way Southpaw and Sheev Talks described it is SK was being very toxic and lying about them and pushing a false narrative. Now, I agree SK was being toxic, but they were lying and they got it wrong. And we're going to hear a small snippet.
I'm reading what's in the chat. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, what he said verbatim is
I said it in the chat.
Yes, that is what happened. Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not getting into Spider-Man 2 itself. By the way, just for the record, I do think Southpaw put out a really great video. The video itself is great. I disagree with him. I think he made a lot of bad points, but the video is actually pretty good. And I do think SK was not being, he wasn't giving it a fair chance. He was just attacking the video. But I think, and I don't want to say this because I've been on record that SK is very toxic. He's lied. He's a hypocrite. He's lied about me. He slandered me. He's misrepresented me. And he's blocked me on Twitter. So I'm not saying SK is a good guy. He's not. But he was right about this. He was right about what they were saying. I cannot confirm this because I did pay attention to the chat. It was happening live, but I was busy doing other things. Now, he says Southpaw insulted him before they started talking. Southpaw was there for a while. He left. He came back. But before he came on, allegedly, SK says, "You insulted me." And I think from the other guests, that's confirmed. He did insult him. And then when he started speaking, we're not going to get into the specifics of the argument. SK's like, that's not a real argument. And I agree. He really didn't say anything. And Southpaw got mad, and then he left. From SK's perspective, well, you didn't say anything, and you insulted me before you came on, and you have Sheev Talks there to help you out. So both of you are laughing at me, you're insulting me, and you're not saying anything. So from SK's point of view, this is a complete disaster for them. And then they started lying about him. And this is where we get to EFAP. And this is pretty devastating, and I'll try to find the audio. I've seen it for myself, but you can go on Twitter because SK tweeted it out. Essentially, someone found an audio where Jolly Chap, Southpaw, and Sheev Talks. And I want to stress, Sheev Talks is the real bad guy. And I've said this many times. He's a liar, he's a racist, he's a piece of garbage, he's a scumbag. And this confirms it completely. What happened is he and Southpaw and Jolly Chap were listening apparently to an SK video, and they asked a question saying, hey, maybe we should send Rags this SK video for EFAP to tear apart. Now, this is where it gets really shocking. He's confirming, he's admitting this, saying, yeah, I've talked to Rags a couple times. And I'm like, what? He's admitting it, that he's had direct communication with Rags. And for those who are a little bit puzzled, well, in the Southpaw video, they make very clear that Rags is a liar, he's a hypocrite, and he has very toxic opinions. But apparently they're okay communicating with him. Even though he's part of a podcast, they describe as being filled with liars and toxic people. That's complete hypocrisy. And by the way, they're laughing it up when they're insulting SK in this little audio clip. On top of all this, and again, I want to be careful, he said he DM'd Rags. I don't know if he means Twitter. If he does mean Twitter, that's breaking the law. As far as I know, Rags is banned from Twitter. He's not supposed to be on Twitter. So if you're DMing him through Twitter, you're breaking the law. So he's pretty much run the whole gamut. He's a racist, he's a criminal, he's a liar, he's a hypocrite. Now that's Sheev Talks. And Southpaw is okay with this. So that's really going to negate the value of his video exposing EFAP. Apparently he doesn't care. He only cares when the EFAP does something bad to him or his content. But if they're attacking SK or making fun of him, they don't care. Everyone is looking really bad. I would still say Thumpcast and Southpaw and SK are a little bit better than EFAP, but they've all gone down a really bad road. So was SK being insulted here? Yes. But is SK toxic? Also yes. Both things can be true. It's just a real mess. But the good news is, I've been totally vindicated. I told people SK was toxic. I told people Sheev Talks is a grifter and a racist and part of the alt-right. He's admitting this. He's communicating with these alt-right people to attack a black man. Put that in perspective, but Southpaw's okay with this and just laughing it up. I will say though, Jolly Chap is a bit of a question mark, but him being okay with this behavior is pretty bad. So it's bad all around for these people. But it's good news for me, and I was vindicated.
Let's say they do find out, as you claim, they absolutely should have, alright? What evidence are they going to have? How is that going to change the narrative that we see?
I mean, we criticized this in The Amazing Spider-Man.
I said the issue was that he took the risk. I don't fucking care that no one figures it out. I even said in the watch party that is recorded, yeah, well, if people just like, okay, maybe they'll just figure that a guy could actually break the backboard like that. I said something to that extent. I don't actually care if they don't figure it out.
I was